Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Collider Interview Studio at TIFF 2024. We are at the Cinema Center, brought to you by Range Rover Sport, talking to Rachel House about her feature directorial debut.
Kia ora, Perry.
The Mountain. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
The joy, I said this to you before, the joy it brings me that we were talking about you just wanting to make the movie. I don't even think you had the green light yet on Ladies' Night like 4 or 5 years ago. And now here you are with an excellent finished film. It's just something else.
I know. It's been a journey, and I feel like people have tried to push me into the role of a director of a feature film, and I just wasn't quite ready. Also, this was an opportunity to get involved in the script as well, which I think I'm quite big on.
Yes, I have many questions about that process. First, just to catch our audience up, because we are talking about a festival premiere. Sometimes that means people out there will not know about The Mountain just yet. So would you mind giving a brief synopsis?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So The Mountain is about 3 young children who go to climb a mountain to help one of their friends, Sam, to cure herself from a terrible affliction. She has cancer. And on the way, they discover the spirit of friendship, and they also really get a deeper understanding of nature itself.
Many questions now about this being your first feature as a director. The first being, why particularly this material? What was it about it that made you say to yourself, this is how I want to introduce myself as a director to this industry? Yeah,
so initially the script was about 3 little boys, and they wanted to conquer a mountain, and the mountain didn't have a name. And so as an Indigenous woman reading that script, I was, I didn't quite know where we were. I didn't know that it was set in our country. And I thought, what a brilliant opportunity. Thank you so much, Tom Furniss, who did a brilliant and worked very, very hard and for many years on his script, The Mountain. It was a wonderful opportunity to try and explain and share with the world how First Nations people see their mountains. Yeah.
I'm going to dig into all those elements too. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to follow up on that I was reading about is that this script was brought to you to direct, I believe.
Yeah.
Were you surprised when that happened, or were you did people know that you were seeking projects to direct?
So I was fortunate enough that I had people bringing me projects really for the last decade, but none of the scripts really sang to me or resonated to me personally. This particular script did, because of those reasons, that I thought, what a brilliant opportunity to share with the world how we see our mountains and how special they are to us. Yeah.
So you've had the itch to direct for all that time, and only now first pushed go.
Well, I directed theatre for a really long time, and so I knew I really loved directing. I love working with actors, love working out story. But I knew that if I wanted to make a feature, it had to be something really special, and maybe it was something that I wrote myself. That never happened. Spent too long procrastinating. And so when this came along, I thought, yay, this is it. This is the one.
So between theater directing and all the other experience you've had in this industry, what is a skill you gained that you found coming in handy when directing your first feature film? But then also, can you list a little bit of a learning curve, something about directing that you didn't expect and you had to adjust to?
Yeah. So I think it was really all the acting coaching that I've done, working with young, amazing kids, that really came in handy for this film. And I think that's why I felt, confident, I suppose, because I knew how to work with kids and I really enjoy it. So that was something that I felt really good about. I think what was so interesting in terms of directing adult actors is that you really have to just let them go for it and just empower them to bring what they want to bring, and only step in if they need help, as opposed to micromanaging a performance in any way. And so I think I feel like there's directors out there who kind of want to start changing you before you've even stepped on set. You know what I mean? And I think I noticed that when I work with directors who just empower you to bring what you can bring to the role yourself, that's often when the best work happens. And I think it was a way, working on this feature film, it was definitely a way for me to experiment with the adult actors, and they all did. They brought their own game on day one.
Edward Burns was just in here talking about his new movie, and
yes.
literally explained it the exact same way, and how Steven Spielberg kind of set the bar in terms of letting actors feel it out for themselves before giving notes, just so you don't box someone in or like put any unnecessary pressure on someone before they've even had a chance to explore the material.
Absolutely, and that's definitely when I've thrived as an actor, and when I've completely crumbled as an actor, when I've been micromanaged. Yeah.
I did want to go back to your young cast. 3 of them are absolutely exceptional.
Thank you.
Can you tell me something about each of them that signaled to you they weren't just a good fit for their particular role, but that they had what it takes to headline a feature film as a young actor?
Yes. So, well, darling, I should start with Terence Daniels because his audition tape was exceptional. He put it together himself. I thought it must have been done by his mum, but in there was sort of like a montage of all of his skills. So it had him, riding his bike. It had him playing rugby kind of mid, flying across the field. He is doing kapa haka, doing the haka. He came in and he basically was Bronco as soon as he stepped in the door. And he was just very at ease in himself as a human being, but also in our culture, in Māori culture, which is definitely something that Bronco needs to have. And he also had a very, clear understanding of grief and also the importance of nature.
He's exceptional in that role. That was one of the characters where every single time you kind of opened me up to a new layer.
Yes.
All I kept thinking was, I need to spend more and more time with him.
Right.
I appreciated that.
And that's Terence. That's him. Like what you're seeing is actually Terence.
I love that.
Big Terence. Yeah.
And now your other 2 stars.
Beautiful Reuben. He went through a kind of ordeal just before he came into audition where he was in the UK at school. He had friends. And then when COVID struck, him and his family moved back to New Zealand. They were from New Zealand. And so he came into the lockdown, into his new life. He hadn't made any friends. And so he was feeling very much like an outsider. So when he came into audition, that was kind of where he was at in his life. He'd just started school and he was, just struggling a little bit to get into the swing of a new school and new friends. So I sort of feel like he brought that beautiful vulnerability to his character straight away as well.
Big old beating heart right there. I like it.
Yeah. And then, of course, our beautiful Elizabeth, she was the hardest to find. We went through a lot of young actors to find her, and she came in with this absolute fierceness and determination, which I thought was essential that Sam had as well.
Leaps off the screen in her work, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is feature debuts for
all 3 of them.
Really something else, and coming out the gate so hot like they do just goes to show that they are going to go up and up and up, and I can't wait to see all of it.
Yeah.
We were talking about this a little before, and I said I wanted to bring it up. It's a really big question that might not have a simple answer, but it's something I really appreciated about your film. What is the key to respecting such a specific experience and cultural elements, but also while making it feel like it's welcoming newcomers in? Because I thought you struck a beautiful balance with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when I reworked the script, I had to rewrite Bronco in particular because I thought Bronco was our key for everybody who didn't know a lot about Māori culture. It was imperative that he be our guide through our culture. So that was a complete rewrite. And I think he does it really well. I think that character kind of brings us in really well. And both those characters, the other 2 struggle with that kind of knowledge themselves. So it really meant that we had to make Bronco be our access point as much as possible. But for us behind the scenes, we, got in contact with, there's 8 tribes that live around the mountain. I'm connected to 2 of them, which is really great. I wouldn't have made that mountain Taranaki unless I was personally connected to them. And we did, me and Desiree Armstrong and Carthew Neal, we did a lot of, work with the iwi before we even started filming. It was a long process, but one that couldn't be rushed. Yeah.
Long process, and it was well worth the time and effort you put into it.
Thank you.
I have to wrap with you, and I wanted to make sure to end on this particular question because it is something that I've been ending ladies' night on for like about the last year or two. So you didn't get to experience this question. It's one of my favorite questions ever.
Okay, great.
So in this industry, we give each other awards, and I think that's super cool. I find that no filmmaker says good job to themselves nearly enough, and making your feature directorial debut is one heck of an accomplishment. So I want you to tell me something specific you did making The Mountain that you know you'll be able to look back on and say, I am so proud of what I did there.
I think it was just the way every day we had a prayer. We started the day with a prayer, and we really infused our process with what we call manaakitanga, which is to uplift and uphold and respect each other in all of our jobs. I think we had a beautiful family, and I think it was all of us who created that, but I'm glad that I was, I guess a leader in that process. Yeah.
Make me so happy. Your film made me so happy.
I'm so happy you say that.
I can't wait to see more.
I will never get sick of people saying that they like that film.
I assume the itch to direct feature films is still there and growing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Although maybe something a bit, a different genre.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Thriller, horror.
I believe flex those directing muscles all you can, and I'll be here for it. Rachel, huge congratulations.
Thank you so much, darling. It's lovely to see you again.
Always lovely seeing you.